Welcome back to Advocacy Alchemy with Professor Ross. Today we're going to view a video I saw last night before I went to bed, and I said, oh, that'd be interesting to talk about. It's close to my home jurisdiction. This is down in Louisiana, and this is from Lafayette, Louisiana. I think this incident happened back in July of 2022 in Lafayette, Louisiana. All right, let's see here. Okay, here's the video we're going to see. This is by State Boys Louisiana, so all credit to you guys for compiling this video, and we can lecture, and it gives us all opportunity to learn something as we watch this video. Here I have a short clip at first to tell us what the law is, and we'll look that up, and then we'll watch the clip in full second.
Would hit two vehicles in his pursuit, and Jarrell Hughes would hit two vehicles in his pursuit, and he was arrested and charged with 2 counts of hit and run, resisting an officer, battery of a police officer, simple criminal damage to property, aggravated flight from an officer, illegal possession of a stolen firearm, attempting to disarm a police officer, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Jarrell Hughes would plead guilty to being a
Okay, so we see we have a large list of felonies that are going to happen in this video. Let's take a look at what those different crimes are in Louisiana. Now remember, a person will have the opportunity to take all these to trial and potentially see if they are able to defend against these cases, to say that the state cannot meet the burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt all the elements of all these crimes. Now, I will let everyone know that juries will see videos sort of like this. I don't think anything was really redacted from this video. When I say redacted, nothing was blurred. I don't know if they even recovered any IDs from people that they showed on any body cams. Now the video has been cut to bring the different officers and body cams together. And you can always check that, because we know this Lafayette Police Department or the Sheriff's Office down in that parish, they use the Axon body cams. You can know by this symbol over here in the corner. All right. We see this incident is going to come from July 12th of 2022, and this happened early in the morning. All right. 6:49 in the morning. All right, let's look up this first one. Hit and run in Louisiana. All right, so in our search, wherever you're searching, and you might want to search as I search, because whenever you're watching this, the laws could have updated, and you can be in a simple Google search. You can be in any type of search engine, and that's what this is that I'm in. This is just a search engine that's going to be offered by OpenAI in the near future. All right, so I like this one because it sort of compiles all the searches that you would get from Google into one result, and it gives you citations from where each piece came from, and you can go and from here do a closer search to make sure you're finding the most up-to-date information. All right, so this says hit and run laws in Louisiana. The LA is the initials for Louisiana. Okay. In Louisiana, hit and run driving is defined under Louisiana Revised Statutes, section sign 14. I guess that's paragraph 100 or chapter 100. That's what that is. It involves the intentional failure of a driver to stop at the scene of an accident, provide their identity, and render reasonable aid. All right, penalties can vary. Let's take a look what the penalties are. So you have misdemeanor hit and run, you have felony hit and run, and you have certain obligations at the scene of an accident. Okay? All right, it says for a misdemeanor hit and run, there can be no death or serious injury. All right, you'll be fined up to $500. You could go to jail for up to 6 months, and you could receive both of those punishments. Now, if there was alcohol or drug influence, all right, the imprisonment is a mandatory 10 days, up to 6 months. That's the additional tack on for that. No serious injury, no death, all right? Felony, death or serious injury. All right, so we're going to have to get into this term, serious injury, here. We'll watch the video and we'll see if we need to define it out better. But this is the felony level, so that means that you would have to go into the Department of Correction and not be kept at a county or parish jail, because Louisiana has parishes and not counties. All right, so death or serious injury, a fine of up to $5,000. All right, so that's a good jump. That's times 10. Imprisonment for up to 10 years, or both. All right, prior convictions are also used to add more time. All right, so if you have prior convictions, now I'm guessing they may be talking about felony convictions, but I don't practice in Louisiana. Their laws are quite different from everywhere else. Because they have holdovers from the time when it was when it was a French colony, basically. All right, so with prior convictions, imprisonment for 5 to 20 years if the driver has prior convictions for DWI, vehicular homicide, or vehicular negligent injuring. All right, so if you got these very specific prior convictions and a DWI, if you caused a homicide in the past with a vehicle, or you had some negligent injuring while using a vehicle. All right, here's our sites. This tells us we can go back and find that exact place in 14, chapter 100. There's also an attorney they have there. All right, obligations at the scene. You have an obligation to stop immediately. So once there's an accident in Louisiana, you're supposed to stop. You're supposed to provide your name, address, and your license number, and give aid to anyone who's injured at the scene. You also need to report it to the police. All right, if you fail to report the accident within 24 hours, you can result into 2 months in jail. Fine of up to $500. All right, that's not a small fine. All right, insurance implications. At-fault drivers may see increased insurance premiums and may need to file a SR22 form. All right, this SR22 is a form you get when you have an accident or somebody wrecks into you. I've had to fill out one of these in the past, long ago when I was in college, and someone wrecked into me during rush hour traffic in the early morning. Civil penalties. Victims may sue for negligence to recover medical expenses, lost wages, pain and suffering and other damages. All right, so victims they may have opportunity to sue. It depends on what kind of accident happened. Sometimes with the law, there's crazy situations that happen. Even looking at the cases, there can be all kinds of situations that may happen, and that's why you have to really view the law on a case-by-case basis. And that's why we're taking what this is a summarized version of the black letter law, meaning the actual. Let's take a look here. All right, good. Open up in a new tab. So this is the actual law. This is what it looks like if you lived in Louisiana and you went to the law library and opened up one of the books with the most recent insert. The law is going to look just like this when they read it out or when they write it out. All right, revised statute 100, hit and run driving. A. Hit and run driving is intentional failure of a driver of a vehicle involved in or causing any accident to stop such vehicle at the scene of the accident. So you didn't stop. That's one, just like they told us in the summary. To give his identity. All right, to give an ID. All right, and to render reasonable aid. All right, to ask anyone at the scene if they need help. All right, they even go back in and define what is to give the identity. All right, number 2, repealed by Act 209. So they had something else here originally, and they took it out. I wonder if it's this portion here, since now everything's going to a gender neutral form or saying his or her. Maybe they took that out, so I don't know. Alright, down here, which the driver has been previously convicted of any felony. You can always come back and you guys can come back and look at this yourself and just take a look at it, see if you understand what it's saying. And the law it's not really written to try to fool you. It's just sometimes things are written, this law is written one way and then there's another law out there that may affect this one. All those sorts of things. Alright, let's jump into the video and let's see what else we have.
The felon in possession of a firearm, and he was sentenced to 126 months in federal prison.
Alright, let's go to the full video. Alright, we'll be stopping it as we go and we'll take a look at, actually, I guess we didn't go back over those other, stop it back right here.
Hughes would hit 2 vehicles in his pursuit, and he was arrested and charged with 2 counts of hit and run, resisting an officer, battery of a police.
Alright, resisting an officer. Let's take a look at that one and see what it says. Officer. All right, in Louisiana, resisting an officer is defined under Louisiana Revised Statute 14, Chapter 108, and it covers the actions that interfere with, oppose, or obstruct a law enforcement officer's duties. The charge can be a misdemeanor or a felony, depending on the circumstances. All right. So let's look at what they see as misdemeanor resisting an officer. The definition is the intentional interference with, the opposition to, or obstruction of an officer making a lawful arrest, detention, or seizure of property. All right. Penalties up to 6 months in jail and/or a fine of up to $500. And why they always say this and/or, if anyone's ever wondering, it's because I've been involved with jury trials where the jury will bring back, instead of going for any time, and we're not talking about just this crime of resisting an officer, but there have been other crimes where they come back with no time in jail or prison, but only a fine. I've seen it happen for someone who was shot, and only a money fine and no prison time. All right, felony resisting. So remember, once a felony, that means the punishment could carry more than 1 year in prison. Felony resisting an officer with force or violence. They defined it, and they have a definition of using threats of physical force against an officer during an arrest, detention, or while the officer is performing their duties. All right. So they don't really have a delineation of what's making it a fine of up to $2,000, imprisonment from a range of 1 to 3 years, with or without hard labor. This is one thing that they still have their hard labor. Let's look that up right quick. What does it mean, hard labor in Louisiana? When you run across things you don't know, don't be afraid to look them up and figure out what's going on. All right, this is how you increase your knowledge and your wisdom about situations. Now, I have been involved with cases before where there are convictions from Louisiana, and you see this sometimes. Hard labor. Louisiana hard labor sentences explained. Hard labor in Louisiana. Hard labor refers to a specific type of imprisonment that involves serving a sentence within the state's Department of Corrections. All right, this is typically reserved for more serious crimes and felonies. Here are some of the key points about hard labor sentences in Louisiana. Hard labor. This term means serving an extensive period of time in a state prison, as opposed to a parish jail. It's often associated with more severe penalties and longer sentences. Felonies. Crimes that are punishable by death or imprisonment at hard labor are classified as felonies. These can include serious offenses such as murder, manslaughter. All right, this term, if you've never heard it before, and all right, a murder means the intent. A person has to have a certain amount of intent to go and kill someone. If someone has a death as a result of someone's actions, but it wasn't the intent, you could be charged with manslaughter. So that means there still was a death there, but it doesn't really have the intent that this one has. So they're really the same charge, the same basis. All right, and certain drug-related crimes. All right. Illegal use of a weapon, obstruction of justice. That's interesting. When you think about this term, obstruction of justice, say you can get up to 40 years of hard labor, depending on circumstances. Parish facilities. In some cases, individuals may serve their hard labor sentences at local parish facilities, which are similar to county jails. Louisiana State Penitentiary, Angola, Dixon Correctional Institute, or Elaine Hunt Correctional Center. This is the 3 state prisons. All right. I think the difference is in my home jurisdiction, we just call, if a person is going to ADC, which is the Arkansas Department of Correction. So I just say it's a transfer to ADC, which would mean hard labor. We just don't use the term. All right, let's see about what was the next. All right, resisting an officer, battery of a police
officer, simple criminal damage to property, aggravated flight from an officer, illegal possession of a stolen firearm, attempting to disarm a peace officer, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Jarrell Hughes will plead.
And let's see, I want to I need to alter that because his name is not spelled that way. All right. We'll make that big again. All right, battery of a police officer. Let's see what that charge is. All right, and also I think this can serve as a learning point. Do you see how this is just a cursory search of these different charges? When you have to go in and you have to hire counsel to help you with any issue, everything has to be really reviewed again. That's the eerie thing about the law. You have to always come back to it because every circumstance is different. Every case is different than the last. So it's important to come back and review what the law says, because sometimes a certain situation doesn't seem to apply to what the law says. All right, and that's why you have to constantly, when a case is being brought to a jury or to a bench trial, if you are an attorney in the case, you have to be aware that you have your intent is to convey your point, and you have to persuade this jury of your point, saying that, you know, if you're on the defense side, the burden has not been met. There's no way that they can meet this burden based on these facts and situations that happened here. Or if you're on the state side, we have met the burden. Look at how all these facts happened, and let me show you where we met each element. So if there's 3 elements to any of these crimes, or if there's 4, we're going to use specific pieces from what you saw on these videos. Yes, met this, met this, met this. All right, that's how a case is laid out during a jury trial. All right, battery on a police officer. Let's get back into it. All right, this says battery of a police officer in Louisiana. All right, they call it a serious offense. It's found at Section 14, Chapter 34, Section 2. This law addresses the intentional use of force or violence against a police officer without the officer's consent. Okay? Battery of a police officer is committing battery without the victim's consent when the offender knows or should know the victim is a police officer on duty. So they have quite a few things that have to be met here based on that. First offense is a fine of up to $500, imprisonment for 15 days to 6 months without suspension of sentence. So look, that's a sturdy sentence, meaning you have to go to jail for at least 15 days, up to 6 months, and the sentence will not be suspended. Second and subsequent, when you see this word, that just means the following offenses after the second. It's a fine of up to $1,000, and it can be imprisonment with or without hard labor for 1 to 3 years. I mean, with hard labor means you go to the one of 3 state facilities. Without hard labor means they can remain in the parish where this incident happened. And it says you can at least have 15 days served without parole, probation, or suspension of sentence. Alright, if the offender is incarcerated, okay, so it's saying if you were a prisoner at that time, or you were in jail and you assaulted or had a battery on a police officer, your fine's up to $1,000. You can still have the same punishment, except the range has changed. Now it's 1 to 5 years without parole. You will not parole. You won't get probation. You have to do that time flat. And it's consecutive to any other sentence. You see, this word here is also a legal sort of term of art. You have concurrent sentences and you have consecutive. When you see the word concurrent, I'll spell it for you so when you see it, you know it. When you see this word concurrent sentence, that simply means that you can serve all the different sentences together to make one. You only serve the most highest time. So if you got charged and convicted of 5 years on this charge, 6 on this other charge, and 10 on this last charge, you only have to serve 10 years. You don't have to serve 5, 6, and 10, which is 21 years. Now, if your charges are set to go consecutive, you have to serve the 5 before you can start serving the 6, before you can start serving the 10. So you end up having to do a lot more time incarcerated. Injury requiring medical attention, imprisonment for up to 5 years, with at least 30 days served without probation. For second offenses, 2 to 5 years, can be fined up to $2,000, with at least 60 days served without probation. All right, they define who all their police officers are. Even a state park warden, wildlife enforcement agencies, your constables, correctional officers, deputy marshals. Okay. They tell you who all the incarcerated offenders are. Even if you're in the halfway house. That's interesting. Okay. All right. Let's see what our next one is. All right. We have simple criminal damage to property. Let's see what that is. Okay. It defines simple criminal damage to property as the intentional damaging of any property of another without the consent of the owner and by any means other than fire or explosion. Ooh. All right. This is a misdemeanor. If the property damage is less than 500, the offender can be charged with the misdemeanor. The felony level, more than 500. You got some more severe penalties. Aggravated flight. All right, it says in Louisiana, aggravated flight from an officer is defined under the Section 14, Chapter 108, Section 1. The intentional refusal to stop a vehicle or watercraft, interesting, when signaled by a police officer under circumstances that endanger human life. Whoa, okay. And that's why you have the additional aggravated flight. The intentional refusal of a driver to bring a vehicle to a stop or of an operator to bring a watercraft to a stop under circumstances wherein human life is endangered, knowing that he has been given a visual and audible signal to stop by a police officer when the officer has reasonable grounds to believe that the driver or operator has committed an offense. All right, that's a lot there. Circumstances endangering human life. That's important to know. All right, it says leaving the roadway. The operator leaves the roadway and forces another vehicle to leave the roadway. Okay. Anytime they call somebody to swerve. Colliding with another vehicle. All right, that speaks for itself. Exceeding speed limit. All right, by at least 25 miles per hour. So if you're 25 over, you can get an aggravated charge if you're fleeing the police. Traveling against the traffic. All right, travels against the flow of traffic or operates the watercraft in a careless, reckless manner. Failing to obey traffic signals. All right. Look, imprisonment up to 5 years at hard labor. Look, they don't have the with or without on this one. All right, you going to the State Department of Correction, the Louisiana State Prison System. A fine of up to $2,000. Restitution could be ordered. All right, so the signal. There's a lot of good information here. And that's why I said that they compile it all in one place, and usually we'll have to search over several places. It's only a summary, so you have to go in and check deeper, but the search is compiled down so quick that it really can help you out to assist you where you're going. Reasonable grounds. Also, officer must have reasonable grounds to believe that the driver or operator has committed an offense. All right, so when you have reasonable grounds, we'll remember and we'll come back to this. And I'll ask you all, do you believe that there were reasonable grounds in this situation? All right, let's see if we have any more major ones. All right, illegal possession of a stolen firearm. We'll look that up later on. Attempting to disarm a peace officer. Possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. All right, this one comes up quite often in the criminal justice system. Possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. All right, let's jump into the video. Let's watch a little bit of the video and let's see what's going on. This is it's a fairly good one.
On this episode of State Boys, we check in with a Lafayette police Police Department, where 3 unconscious people in a vehicle turn into a very hostile situation at a local gas station. It goes from life being saved to a slew of serious charges. What will LPD find?
Get out the truck! Back up! Stop!
The State Boys on the highway. Do the speed limit. State Boys don't play. State Boys on the interstate. Make sure your license good and your tags up to date. State Boys on the highway. They stopping everything. That 3 people in a vehicle outside of a racetrack gas station. Officers and city police. Lafayette, Louisiana. On July 12, 2022, the Lafayette Police Department gets a call that 3 people in a vehicle outside of a racetrack gas station were in a drug-induced unconscious state. The officers and first responders arrived to the scene and made contact with the driver, 40-year-old Jarrell Hughes, and his 2 passengers to help render aid.
Okay, so notice they come to the scene and look, everybody's in this truck slumped over. All right, the police don't know what, and they have to assess the situation and make sure everyone is okay, and then find out what happened here.
No, I don't. I didn't reach in there. I didn't know what was what.
What's up, boss?
There's more in the back.
Yeah. At least one in the back. How y'all doing?
Yeah, we just gonna get on Narcan.
Hey, Andre. Bro, grab a second box in case you only grab one. That 4 pieces of bottles.
You heard somebody in the background said, what's going on? All right, but this is very dangerous. Look how dangerous this is. This gentleman has fallen asleep while driving this car. He's at a gas station, and you heard the ambulance first responder say, he's a first responder from the fire department. Say, is this a situation where we need to use some Narcan? Narcan is a substance that they use, and you'll see it here in just a moment, where they revive an individual because it has some sort of chemicals in it that, I guess, counteracts the intoxicants if a person is intoxicated on certain things. All right, let's watch and see.
Big fun? The big fun? Yeah. And I hope you move like the wayside.
I'm gonna let you do that thing first. Y'all want us to hit it with Narcan or wait?
I mean, y'all the medical professionals here.
Yeah, we just got Narcan, so we really don't know much about it.
Okay, that's probably the one thing to catch on video, that they just got the Narcan, they don't really know much about it, and then laugh. All right, but we're going to see how this situation is going to go down from here. Watch, there's quite a bit of action that happens here.
I understand, but I was talking about him right here, see what he does.
Because he's obviously out of it.
Yeah, hit him with something. Hold on, 3 of them.
Oh yeah, well you got one in the back who's
somewhat there. The front passenger is just like completely ghosted. And then, see, look at him.
Oh, wow.
All right, so you see the Narcan is this substance in this little box here, and he sprays up this guy's nose, and usually it wakes a person back up almost immediately because it's almost like those. Well, I can't say almost like. I don't know what the different substances are, but you've always seen they used to carry the little snap sticks that they would snap in front of somebody's nose and make somebody wake up. That's how I associate the two. They are very different. I understand they're very different. All right, but as a analogy between something you may have seen, smelling salts, something that's very strong, but this actually has something in it that counteracts the intoxicants from fentanyl and overdose, various overdose symptoms.
Who is the officer? That was you behind me?
Yep.
So you know they had a red F-150 at Johnson and Thruway? We went to turn left, stolen vehicle. My camera hit on it.
It came on while you were coming here?
Yeah, so the new cameras that run license plates and it sends us hits.
Yeah.
So as I'm turning, I get a hit. Boom, stolen vehicle. I'm like, oh well, their lucky day.
Right. That's wild.
Because they gave us a look. I looked. I'm like,
After giving Jarrell a dose of Narcan, he is still unconscious.
All right, so you heard they have to give him a second dose of this Narcan. He's still unconscious. So look, all in all right, this person, though he's gonna have a bunch of stuff happen here, he could have died right here. He's unconscious. He's seriously unconscious from an overdose.
they're going to do a second Narcan on him. I mean, the passengers.
We got another box in case we gotta use it on him.
Okay.
Shove it all the way up there.
Put it all the way up. Yeah. Where?
All right, so you see he recovered a gun. There was a gun he took out of the center console. The officer secured the weapon and took it to the side. Now, I think the other officer is getting ready to grab one, but he's going to grab a gun with no gloves on. All right, so that's usually it's considered a no-no, because then you can't go and check these weapons to see if they're. You can always check them and see if they have the same tool markings of another crime, but you better have prints on there.
Where?
Right there. I don't have gloves on, so I'm not trying to grab it.
Yeah, get it, put it on and check these little two sides.
Gun number 2.
All right.
Hey, no round.
Oh, wow.
It's the second one. We already pulled the first one off.
On this person?
One hand on this person. This one's in between the seat. You want to go?
Last time I come across a situation like that, dude was trying to pull it on us and shoot us.
That's a good thing I looked.
Right? We were at the library and he was hopped up on spice.
That's how you put some gloves on in case I find anything else. You got gloves?
Okay, so these are apparently EMT, Lafayette Rescue.
Policies and that put our hands on nobody, but It's one of those judged by 12, carried by 6, right?
After finding the two firearms, the officers turned their attention on the two other passengers of the vehicle who were also in a drug-induced unconscious state.
Passenger buckle man to get out. Y'all want to let her out? Don't want her to back out?
Yeah, I guess we can. He's so fucked up. Hit the unlock button.
Alright, so you see that this gas station is a fairly busy gas station also. Advice. This is just human advice. If you're ever at a gas station and you're already pumping your gas and you see something going down, 2 pumps over, police action, a bunch of stuff, go ahead and stop your pump. Go on about your business. Because you never know what's going to happen. Okay? That's just some little life experience. If there's too much, if the block is too hot, all right, came up in the 90s, you know, if there's too much action going on in your vicinity, go ahead and leave. Keep yourself safe. You know, let your family members be able to see you again, because everything can go left when there's too much going on. Now, you remember when I first pulled this up, I had public intoxication pulled up on this Louisiana law for public intoxication. That's because I was watching this and I was like, oh, come on, that's an automatic there. And public intoxication is found in section 14, chapter 103. And this deals with disturbing the peace. That's what they more define public intoxication as. And they go hand in hand when you hear those terms, public intoxication, disturbing the peace. And many states are going to have them linked together. All right, it says disturbing the peace includes appearing in an intoxicated condition in a public place. Where they're at a raceway gas station, kind of like a truck stop if you're not from the South. Because I know I've seen them in Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and they may be pretty much everywhere. All right, this can result in a fine of up to $100 or imprisonment for up to 90 days. All right, they say public intoxication is considered a misdemeanor, but a conviction can still have a significant consequence, including a criminal record. The law does not require a chemical or blood test to prove intoxication. The testimony of arresting officers and other witnesses can be sufficient. That's important to know. You can be convicted just based on how everyone else experienced you and whatever you did. All right, let's jump back in.
I can't
because of the pole.
I just don't want to break it.
Yeah, we can.
I mean, it's a medical emergency, so we can open it right now. Here, and oh, good God.
I don't smell nothing.
Oh,
What's this smell like?
shit. Hey, it's legit.
The back backseat passenger gains consciousness and the officer explains to her what happened, and then all hell breaks loose.
Hey, asshole. Don't get ugly with him. I'm gonna tell you right now. You need to back up. Man, call my mother brother. Man, f all that. That's a motherfucking idiot. I don't know what the f they were doing.
Okay, so you heard that she has gotten out of the back seat and woken up, and now she's not trying to assist. She's being disruptive of the services they're trying to render to this gentleman. Notice that no one has been arrested or anything yet. They're simply trying to check on him and the other people to see what's going on. So this could be a breach of the peace right now, but we're about to find out.
I can tell you what they were doing. Who's that to you?
Huh?
Who's that? Who's the driver to you?
That's my son.
They might have saved his life. He was unresponsive until they showed up.
I woke up to this.
You woke up to this? Did you wake up to him being unresponsive? Did you know that we Narcaned him twice? Did you know that?
No, but I don't have nothing to do.
All right, notice, so the sun is up now, and he immediately starts the truck up. That's an issue because you see all these cars here. There's somebody behind him. There's an ambulance directly in front of him. All right, you see how that could be a bad situation. And he's obviously, we don't know if he's intoxicated yet, but we know that something was wrong for him to be asleep. You can't fall asleep at the wheel. That's a crime in and of itself. It can be an accident, but also that you can't operate a vehicle while you're asleep. All right, that's common sense.
Out the car. Out the car now. Out the car now. Out the car now. Out the car now. Run! Take his ass right now! Get out the truck! Back up! Some! Get out the truck! Do it now! Get out!
All right. So as you see, the tasers were deployed on this gentleman, Mr. Hughes. All right. More than one set of tasers. I believe there were 2 sets that actually deployed, maybe 3 sets. Under the arm, across the front, and I think this might be a taser hook, as they're called, here in his leg too. All right, let's see what happens. This video has quite a bit more that's about to happen.
I'm fucking pulling. I got lethal. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car. Get out.
All right, you've heard now that little electricity sound. That means that someone's engaging the button here. When you engage the button on the trigger here, it sends a shock through these prongs. There's a cord here, and it's still connected to him. Every time he hits that, it shocks the person. You heard another officer come forward saying, "I have lethal." That means he's pulled his service firearm, and now everything has escalated. This is a regular car back here. So this is a regular citizen over here on this side. But I think we're looking at, it's a rounded view like this. There's another set of pumps directly behind him. And that's only because there's a circular camera here that's catching a wider view.
Get the keys out.
Stop moving! Watch her! No, you're...
Okay, so you see that the first car he ran into was a police car that was directly behind him. All right. So once again, as I said, if you're ever at a gas station, one of these large gas stations, you know, where they have 20 pumps across, and there's a bunch of action going on over here. Action meaning there's an ambulance, there's 2 or 3 police cars with lights going, and people starting to walk around. Go ahead and just go about your business, pay for your stuff, and leave, because you never know what could happen. This person's now hit this car, and it looks like he's about to hit this ambulance. We're going to wind it back 5 seconds, and we're going to let it roll.
Watch her! No, you're not! Stop moving! Oh, fuck! Oh, he hit somebody!
All right, and you see he ran over this person right here. That's his person. His person is on the ground, so he's in the truck by himself now.
All right, folks. You good? All right.
Yeah.
Sherelle Hughes would flee from the scene, and the chase would be on, and the Lafayette police officers have to track him down.
Right around Crystal, look at that's it.
All right, just to quickly pause it here. Look, they have a Axon Fleet 2. So this is a dash cam. Anytime you see the Axon Fleet, that means a dash cam. Axon Body means body cam. This is a number 2, so it's the second generation. This is which car? 5549. That department has these sets of cameras, and you will usually read it by these last 4 numbers.
South, the ditch was walking, he's running towards me. Black male, no shirt. He's running toward East Broussard. I'm going north.
Got him in pole position.
All right, so once again, that's why it's so important to, if you're in a traffic stop or if you are coaching and teaching your loved ones about traffic offenses, follow the officer's orders, okay? Be respectful. Try not to end up in a situation like this, all right? it's actually good that this gentleman didn't keep running, because they could have pulled out their lethal weapons again and shot him. All right, we see it's a different body cam here. This is 7261. This is from his body cam. All right, where it's still early in the morning. Sun's just coming up, 6:40 in the morning. Bunch of action.
Put your hands behind your back. You got me. You know. No way. You got me. You got me. You got me.
We need to go block traffic there.
You got some gloves? You got blood all over. You're gonna look at him.
Okay.
Hey, didn't I just see you yesterday?
Can y'all check
You
on
got
the
him?
guy that he has?
Yeah, which Tahoe is he in?
Tahoe.
All right, so look at this vehicle. He crashed it. He crashed out. I don't know which one of these is from wrecking at the gas station, but as you can see, he completely crashed this thing out. All the stuff they had inside the vehicle is now rolled out here.
Can you get old boy's information just to write it down? We'll figure out what we're gonna do with him in a second. Is it stolen? It's his?
Not according to the plate. It was back on somebody else's. I don't know who it was. I had the plate match where the plate was.
So, you hit the car over there. He hit this truck over here too. Okay, commission. Is that for us? Say again? Commission?
I tell you what, man, it's amazing how, just as people, we do some damage to some of these vehicles and things, and we are able to walk away from the accidents. That's amazing in and of itself, right? So I don't know if it's the safety or if it's the good construction of these vehicles or something else, but man, we do walk away from some very, very bad accidents sometimes. This man should be very happy that he walked away from this incident, and hopefully he stops using drugs.
That's for us down there? That's not for us?
Is arrested. The officer back at the scene speak.
Why did he do that? I don't know what the f*** happened. Why did he have warrants, or why did he flee? I mean, we weren't going to do anything. I mean,
No, but it's the way y'all was handling them. And when they shook them, a person that gets scared is you shake them and you don't know. If you don't have no.
also, if there's
I'm not gonna lie
narcotics
to you.
involved.
Yeah, we have been drinking, but it ain't no.
Yes, I saw the alcohol in there, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Yes, we have, but you don't shake nobody. We was drunk, and I was sick when I woke up.
He's a good job there.
Hey, man, what's your name? How are you? How you? K-R-L?
Rights about what?
There's a lot to discuss.
He said, I guess I'll read you your rights before I start. Rights about what? All right. So everyone in the car can potentially be hit with the public intoxication. So he and this man says could potentially be used against the other person in the car to find out what everyone is intoxicated on. Okay, so that's why the rights have to be read.
Alright. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, won't be appointed to represent you before any question if you wish. You understand your rights?
Yeah.
Did y'all do any drugs before y'all came to the racetrack?
Look, man, let's put them on a 4-liter.
Y'all drink at all?
Yeah, we drank.
No drugs. You know you can't be arrested for it, right?
Yeah, I was doing drugs.
Yeah? What drug?
Heroin.
You're doing heroin. Okay. You know how much?
Okay, so now we find out what the intoxicating substance that everyone in the vehicle was on. Heroin.
Okay, did the driver do heroin too?
No.
Did anybody else in the truck do heroin?
No.
Okay. So when y'all got here to the racetrack, we got a call that was saying that all three of y'all were in the truck passed out, unresponsive. So the fire department and Acadian got here. They started treating y'all. The driver woke up, freaked out, turned the truck on, put it in drive, and then backed up into my car, pulled forward, hit Acadian's unit, backed up into my car again. I don't know what he has against my car. Put it in drive.
Okay, so he's going back over how many cars were hit. There were a total of 3 cars hit. 2 police cars, 1 civilian car. In the process of him trying to run. All those come out as charges.
Out of the truck, left, and they got him stopped way down the thruway right now. Also, he had a stolen gun. Yeah. Well, that's what happened. That's where we're at. How long you been knowing that guy?
I've been knowing all my life.
What's his name?
Jarrell Hughes.
Jarrell Hughes would hit 2 vehicles in his pursuit, and he was arrested and charged with 2 counts of hit and run, resisting an officer, battery of a police officer, simple criminal damage to property, aggravated flight officer, illegal possession of a stolen firearm, attempting to disarm a peace officer, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Jarrell Hughes would plead guilty to being a convicted felon in possession of a firearm, and he was sentenced to 126 months in federal prison.
Man, so it seems like a lot of the charges in Louisiana were referred over to the district attorney's office. And this is how you spell his name correctly. I spelled his name incorrectly. I'll see if I can correct that. But his name is spelled Jorel. All right, he was sentenced for illegal possessing a firearm. United States District Judge David C. Joseph sentenced Hughes to 126 months, 10 years and 6 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. He pleaded guilty to that charge on August 18th of 23 to being a convicted felon in possession of a firearm. So, in addition to the state charges and the state crimes, I don't know if they've been transferred over to convictions or if he took a plea, but basically, in addition to those state charges, he has federal time he has to do now.
No, I have footage.
That'll stop me from doing my work, huh? Yeah, let that man get over.
You want on that? I was trying to not let him shoot him. He was about to shoot him. I tried to stop him. If he would have hit somebody, though, that would have been different.
817 Charlie, Quebec Delta. 817 Charlie, Quebec Delta. We're right in front of the house.
I'm not built for stuff like this no more.
Yeah, that guy, the passenger said he was doing heroin, and the driver had a stolen gun. We found 2 guns in the car. He had a stolen gun. They were doing heroin.
You overdosed on some that was probably laced with fentanyl. You and your uncle both. From my
Okay, so you hear that the drugs were laced with fentanyl. So they didn't know the drugs were going to be that strong. Caused them to overdose, and they could have lost their lives. All right, look at his face when he's telling them this. He kind of realizes, oh man.
My understanding is you were unresponsive, like you were dead, or dying. Once we got to the scene, they used Narcan on you twice, I think, in order to bring you back. You had 2 guns in that vehicle, one of which was stolen. So you did get charged with the possession of a stolen firearm. We took the guns out of the vehicle before you woke up. Once you woke up, you got your keys out of the pocket, put them in the ignition of the truck. We were telling you to stop, get out, had you a taser point, all this other stuff. You go to back out, you ram a police car. There's an ambulance in front of you, you drive forward, you ram that. You go back and forth between those vehicles a couple times till you make enough of a wedge. And you end up hitting, I think you hit your uncle with the truck, who's in the passenger seat. Then we tased you multiple times. You hit a police officer with your truck and drug him a good while. And we kept tasing, and he was about to run some people over. We drew down a pistol, and then you tried to take the pistol from him.
What?
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
Man, y'all here, man. Y'all could have killed me. I tried to take the gun.
Yeah.
You notice all these are where the prongs from the taser were all inserted and hooked into his skin. But you heard him say he's realizing it now because I guess he's probably been locked up long enough to where all effects have mostly worn off. And he said, y'all could have killed me. Alright? He understands the nature of the situation now, of all what happened and what transpired.
So 2 counts of hit and run, possession of a stolen firearm, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, attempted disarming of a police officer. Then you got your criminal damage to property and your aggravated flight for the vehicle pursuit. You went all the way to Maurice. So you went from the racetrack on the thruway all the way to Maurice, and then you came back and you crashed out of Walgreens on Johnson and East Broussard. You were pretty sure you were thrown from the vehicle, if I remember. You might have just hopped out. But the vehicle rolled, your truck's totaled. It rolled on its side and everything else in the ditch. I talked to him while I was at the hospital. He's getting checked out at the hospital.
Okay, so once again, that's another video. This was dealing with the Louisiana laws. And let's look up felon in possession in Louisiana. Felon in possession. And that term just simply means felon in possession of a firearm. Alright, it's found that the Louisiana revised statutes 14.0 95. And also, we'll go here. That way you can see bigger what I'm writing as I write it. Alright, key points of the law: prohibited persons. It's unlawful for anyone convicted of a felony or found not guilty by reason of insanity for certain crimes to possess a firearm or carry a concealed weapon. This includes crimes of violence, burglary, unauthorized entry, and certain drug offenses. The penalty: remember, hard labor means in the state penitentiary 5 to 20. The least you can get is 5 years. The most is 20, and that's without probation. A fine between $1,000 and $5,000. All right, attempting to violate this law can result in up to 7.5 years of hard labor and 5 to 2,000. The prohibition does not apply to individuals who have not been convicted of any felony for 10 years from the date of completion of their sentence, probation, parole, or discharge from a mental institution. So it looks like you might get your firearms exceptions back after 10 years. I don't know. We'll have to look at that. Firearm restoration. And this is all dealing with Louisiana. So in Louisiana, restoring firearm rights for convicted felons is complex and involves state and federal laws. Here are the key points. All right, we have Section 14, Chapter 95.1 prohibits felons from possessing firearms. This includes crimes of violence, burglary, and certain drug offenses. There's a 10-year rule. All right, so felons may possess firearms if 10 years have passed since completing their sentence, probation, or parole, and they have not been convicted of any crimes of violence. Now, this is Louisiana state law. This is not true in my state. All right, once a person has been convicted of a felon in my home state, you have to apply for a pardon from the governor or restoration of firearm rights. All right, and expungement. Expunging a felony conviction can help restore firearm rights, but does not guarantee federal recognition. The Federal Gun Control Act of 1968 prohibits felons from possessing firearms. There is no automatic restoration of firearm rights under federal law. ATF waivers. Felons can petition the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms for restoration of their Second Amendment rights, but these waivers are rarely approved. All right. It's interesting. Very interesting. Okay. But once again, this has been Advocacy Alchemy with Professor Ross. I hope you found some use for that video, as semi entertaining, to let everyone understand, also as a educational base, what could potentially happen during a police interaction, and also to gain some experience and wisdom on, if you see something like this happening near you, how you might want to proceed. I would encourage you not to become a bystander, to go ahead and finish up what your business is, or complete your business early and leave the location, because that might potentially save your own life. Okay? So with that, everyone have a good day. And it's Labor Day, so everyone have a good Labor Day also. I am Professor Ross. This is Advocacy Alchemy.